My name is Farah Haidari, and I will be reading a story from the That Takes Ovaries book and play titled Women's Rights Are Human Rights by Rana Husseini. When a murder occurs in Jordan, they do not give out the victim's name or address. So when I walked through a poor and crowded suburb outside our capital, Amman, navigating sandy, hilly, unpaved roads, I was not exactly sure where I'd end up. Figuring everyone knew everyone's business in this neighborhood, I stopped an older man on the street. "I heard there was a crime here. A 16-year-old girl was killed by her oldest brother. Can you tell me the address?" "Right there." He pointed behind me to a barber shop. "Do you know why she was killed?" I asked. "Because her older brother had raped her," he said. "You must be joking," I asked. "No," he said. "Are you sure?" I asked again. "Yes." He nodded his head, offering no look of shock to match mine. "There must be something wrong," I insisted. "No, that's what happened," he said, leaving. It was an old barber shop with 2 chairs. The barber sat on one, 2 men stood nearby. I walked in, angry but cautious, and without delay asked about the girl. "Who told you? How do you know about this?" The men responded in a "how dare you ask" tone. "It was in the newspaper, just a few lines," I answered. When they said they were her uncles, I sat down, told them I was a reporter, and launched in. "Why was she killed?" "She was not a good girl," one uncle snapped, as if that would justify a killing. But I knew the truth from the man in the street. Now I wanted it from them. I pushed with more questions. Finally, one decided there was no reason to hide the truth. "Her brother raped her." That was all I needed to hear. "So why did you kill her? Why did you punish the victim? Why didn't you punish the brother?" To those outside our culture, my questions may have seemed presumptuous, but by then I understood enough about so-called honor crimes to know that though the uncles hadn't actually slit her throat, her oldest brother had done that, they had plotted the execution. That is how it was usually done, by family decision. Now, much to their repugnance, a woman was asking about this crime of honor. The uncles looked at each other, haughtily amused by my questions. One asked the other, "Do you think we killed the wrong person?" No, relax. We killed the right one." These are words I will never forget, words that still make my blood burn. "She seduced her brother. She tarnished the family's honor and deserved to die. That is why we killed her." "Why would she seduce her brother when there are dozens of men in the street?" I openly argued with them. Fed up with me and turning more aggressive, they shot back. "Why are you here? Why do you care? Why aren't you dressed in the traditional robe? Why aren't you married? Oh, you studied in the United States." These accusations, fired like bullets, translated to one thing. Like their niece, I was not a good girl. Indeed, I had worn non-traditional clothes, jeans and sneakers, on this murder investigation, just in case something went wrong and I had to take off fast. I figured now was a good time to leave. Anyway, I already had my story. When I was 26 and investigating this girl's death for my newspaper, the Jordan Times, I never imagined her sad story would instigate my becoming a national voice for the mostly poor victims of so-called honor killings. What is a crime of honor? It is when a male takes the life of a female relative because, in the family's opinion, she has tarnished their reputation by supposedly getting involved in immoral behaviors. Though honor killings are a violation of human rights and a violation of all major faiths, including Jordan's predominant Islamic religion, Many Arab people ignore the killings and pretend they do not exist. After that disturbing incident at the barber shop, I went to the courthouse to investigate further. I sifted through legal paperwork and testimonies, trying to be objective and at the same time exposing the brutality and unjust sentencing. I wrote my second ever news report on honor killings. I learned astonishing things investigating those early articles, such as that women are often killed under the pretense of honor, when in reality their families murder them because of baseless rumors, incest they want to hide, inheritance manipulation, or simply because females are considered a burden. And even though premeditated murder is usually punished by life in prison or death, due to Jordan's laws, honor crime killers can get 2 to 7 year sentences, and sometimes only 3 to 6 months. Another discovery I made was that sometimes women are imprisoned by the authorities ostensibly for protection. Everywhere else in the world, the aggressor is put behind bars, not the victim. I decided to expose these injustices through my articles. I hoped that one day someone would hear me and be just as enraged. I was heard all right. The newspaper got many comments. "Why are you reporting on honor killings?" they asked. "You are encouraging sexual freedom and promiscuity among women. You are backed by the West and aimed to destroy the morals of our people. You are imposing Western values on our conservative society. You are tarnishing the country's image by exposing our dirty laundry abroad. And, my favorite, you are a radical feminist seeking fame through these news reports." One high-up official, a woman, yelled at my editor, "You should stop Rana Husseini. She is exaggerating. These things do not happen here." As before, these words became fire burning inside me. Instead of making me stop, they kept me going. I was determined to prove the killings happened, even in the face of anonymous email threats, such as, "Stop writing about this issue or you will be visited by someone at your work or home." I am not scared. I know what I am doing is right, and when you fight for something that's right, you shouldn't be scared. I know the people in the government must be held accountable for these women's deaths. All should bear the responsibility of ensuring women's safety and their right to life. I have argued this point with judges. Carefully, of course. The judiciary is one of the most respected institutions in our country. You can't really question or accuse them of anything. But when a man who has killed his sister, because she was raped, received a 6-month sentence for this premeditated murder, I knocked on the office door of a judge from the trial, and we calmly chatted off the record. The judge knew me and had seen me on TV, fighting for women's rights. "Why did you give that murderer such a lenient sentence?" I asked. "The girl was raped. It's not her fault." "The defendant is a product of our culture," he answered. "He was pressured by society and his family to take such actions." "There is something wrong here," I told the judge. "These verdicts do not value women's lives." He paused. I could see the conversation had an impact. Now, the impact I see is nationwide. The personal accusations have not stopped, but in the past 7 years of my reporting, lecturing, speaking on local, national, and international TV, appearing in documentaries worldwide, winning human rights awards, and earning international recognition, I have also seen real change. A group of us formed a grassroots organization, the National Jordanian Campaign to Eliminate So-Called Crimes of Honor. We collected an unprecedented 15,000 signatures, calling for the abolishment of specific laws that discriminate against women, and presented them to decision makers and the parliament. We also held Jordan's first March for Women's Rights, and 5,000 people came. With the support of the royal family, there is now a growing movement demanding a guarantee of justice, freedom, and the right to life for women in my country.